Hello, everyone. Welcome to the LTG show, episode 198. Yes, 198. We are rolling here. My name is Sean Wilburn.
I'm Tony Hannity's.
And we are here to talk about, well, technology and amongst many other things. Now, this is the main podcast for this website called LazyTechGuys.com. If you haven't heard about it, you should probably go check it out. It's LazyTechGuys.com. Go ahead and check them out. Now, if you'd like to email us or give us a call, and by the way, we're getting a lot of people who are giving us voicemails and all that. By the way, for all the people who are listening and sent us voicemails and all that, thank you very much. We appreciate it. We are getting your calls, and we love listening to them. So if you would like to contact us, 707-722-5299 is the telephone number, or you can actually email us at comment@lazytechguys.com. Now, if there is a little delay, sorry, we can't really control it. It's just happening. I think there's a little delay popping up. Is it still going up, Tony?
No, I think that the delay has been abolished. Is that a good word to use there? Exercised? It's over. It's done.
You know, abolish. I like how you start with the most extreme term.
I know, just most like craziest.
I'm thinking like abolish. Dude, man, we're getting biblical around here, dude.
I know, crazy.
Right? So how you doing, Tony?
Abolished by biblical proportions. I'm good, man. I'm good. We had a great meeting yesterday. I think it was great. For those of you who don't know, LTG had a roundtable, not at the pizza place, but we had a little bit of a meeting in person, and a lot of things are going to happen to the website, to the podcasts, and to the people. We're going to be implementing a lot more cybertronics embedded into eyes, ears, and noses. So that's going to be kind of cool. I'm very excited for that.
Are you saying we're going to get bought by Google or something? What?
Oh, you don't even know. It's already happened, dude. That left eye of yours, that's not yours.
You know what?
You shouldn't have gone to sleep last night, man.
No, I'll say this much. Considering how in the Metal Gear Solid saga, Big Boss only has one eye,
yeah,
and he's pretty much a badass, I think I'll take that.
All right, there you go.
All right, so today's show, we're going to talk quite a few different topics. We're going to talk about robotics and a little bit about that, and Google's CEO saying how robotics is not going to be a bad thing for them to take our jobs. Anyway, so we're also going to talk a little bit about the Amazon Hatchet kind of battling that's been brewing over, and we have some new, developments of that. We also are going to talk a little bit about AMC theaters trying to save, theaters, make them a little bit more attractive by putting recliners in there, which, by the way, Tony, you and I both think that's a bad idea. Galaxy VR, the Samsung Galaxy VR. We'll talk a little bit about that. And a few other things, including, if we can get to it, possibly the new Blackberry phone, which is very, very, well, square. Actually, extremely square. So what do you say about that? All right. Tony, are you ready to get started?
Let's do this.
All right, so let's get some music happening here to get us started here. All right, no, I'm not going to do that. All right, so let's see here.
We'll work on that. We'll work on the cut-throughs, or the cutaways, whatever they're called.
The problem is the only ones I have are the ones that I don't want to use.
Yeah,
I had the sad trombone and the crickets.
Oh, yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah, and then the Terminator theme, of course. Actually, the Terminator theme probably would be a
that fits right here. That fits exactly what we're talking about.
So, Google's... I can't even do that with a straight face. This is hilarious. Okay, so the CEOs of Google were actually having a fire chat?
Fireside chat.
So I guess what that means is a bunch of people watch them stand on stage talking to each other as if the people are kind of there or not there. So they were talking about doing something for the people, like lighting up work weeks, making it a little easier for work, like saying that we maybe should be doing more, like instead of doing 40-hour weeks, we should probably be doing less weeks. We should probably be spending more time on vacation. Like he would ask questions like, who would like to have more vacation time? And of course, everybody always says yes to that. Tony, would you like more vacation time?
Of course, who wouldn't?
Yay. All right, but in the conversation that they had here, it went in here and brought out my inner Terminator. And I know, and in it, they brought out how they're going to use how robots are going to start replacing our jobs here in the future. So you have to pull it back again.
Yeah. Bring it back.
So they were talking about how we're going to replace basic jobs that people are doing, jobs that are unnecessary with robots, and how this is actually a good thing. How it's going to allow people to be able to have more time off with their families and more time off in, their daily lives to spend doing art and things like that, because we'll have robots that take care of a lot of the smaller things that we don't already dealing with. So,
Right, but does that mean it's paid time off? Because time off and paid time off are two completely different things. I had to take today off because I had to get my car done, but
mhm.
I didn't get paid for it. you know.
You should get on your bosses about that. I want to be paid for not doing my job. Um, so what is your initial take when you're hearing about this? Besides the robotics,
Well, I mean, it's the old thing where we've been talking about it for many years, even before Google became the brunt of the joke. Uh, Machines taking over, not necessarily the whole world, but taking jobs, and we're already seeing that. The implementation of the assembly line that Henry Ford implemented with his cars after he saw it in a meatpacking facility. That were guys. Then they put cars together, and next thing you know, those guys are being replaced by machines, and someone has to manage those machines. So there's still human interconnection, but it's boils down to maybe 2 or 3 guys instead of 50 guys that build the car, and so there are going to be jobs that are lost, but at the same time, that does open up other jobs in the field of robotics. The problem is some of these people just they don't have the interests. They unfortunately might not have the facilities to learn how to work with these machines. Like they don't have a DeVry University or a Wyotech or whatever they're called, right around the corner. I know for us here in Northern California, we've got a ton of them, obviously. But if you're in Alabama or the Midwest, where it's not so readily available, there are other things out there like mining, but that's probably going to be taking over a little bit more and more by machine, and the mentality behind that is like, well, it's safer for you because you're getting sick and you're getting black lung and mines can cave and kill hundreds of people. It's like, well, yeah, but that's how we live, and so it's finding the balance. It's finding the balance where and this is going to sound corny, but where machines and humans can coexist and symbiotically. And to a certain degree, we kind of found that, a little way back where
when
I
Optimus Prime came down and helped out.
yes, exactly. Well, no, it was actually Megatron because that's how we got microwaves and apparently.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but we lived in an era for a while where technology wasn't so much something that took over jobs, but it just aided jobs. Now it's getting to the point where you don't need a middle person to facilitate a simple task. You can just go to a machine or just look at your phone and just have your phone do it, and then it sends the package or it sends the memo or whatever the case may be. So, as you mentioned, people want more time off, but as I mentioned, people want to work because we don't live to work, but we live in order we don't live to work, but we work in order to live the lifestyle that we want to obtain, and if we can't because we're hindered by a mechanical boss and possibly mechanical employees next to us, it could be closer than we think. You and I have jobs where we have to be the middle person. I don't think we're at the point right now, at least in retail, where people are comfortable going to a store and just punching in like, oh, I want this keyboard with this used guitar and this PV amp. Go find it for me. Like they want to talk to an expert. They want to talk to somebody, and that's what you and I are. We're experts in our own respective field. And as smart as machines can be, they are experts because they are smart, but they're not. Unless you go with the HAL, was it 3000 or 9000 method? I don't know. It's getting yeah.
Yeah. Well, my thing about it is this. So I agree with everything you said because we're going to have to find new ways of doing it. If this stuff happens the way that Google is pushing for it to happen with all the acquisitions they're doing, which is looks like they're going to do it. And if this stuff is successful and allows companies to build more products in a safe manner and, of course, save money, it's probably going to happen. I would just hope that there's a way that humans can find a way of something that we can do to keep ourselves busy to keep going. Like you said that people need to work. I actually disagree with that. I don't think people need to work per se. People need to find something to do that keeps themselves motivated and move them, and just something that keeps them positively motivated and feel like they're accomplishing something.
Right, but they can't do that if they don't have a cash flow of some sort.
Well, that's kind of the thing. Now that kind of goes back to my entire thing. Like as I'm reading this entire thing, I'm thinking, all right, in a utopian society.
Oh, we're going there?
Well, but that's kind of what he's saying. Like, I don't see how we could ever get a point where all the jobs that he says that are not really worth a human's time are ever going to get done, because we need humans to do these jobs, some of these basic jobs that he feels may be beneath what he is saying. In a utopian society, or like I actually jokingly think about the movie WALL-E, when everybody's perfect and everybody groups together and everybody hightails it off the playing planet. Everybody doesn't do anything. No one really does anything with their selves, and everybody just kind of sits around and is not really feeling satisfied. Everybody's just there. They're doing all this stuff to try to keep people motivated, to keep themselves moving forward. People do get depressed when they don't have jobs. People don't get depressed when they don't have when they're not able to do something. But even people who don't get paid, when they feel they're part of it, something like a church or something, is accomplished and it means something. So if Google does this and the jobs are going to get taken by these robots and all these small ones, yes, there'll be another person who needs to learn robotics to get into that industry, or hopefully there's an outlet, something that they can do, maybe create a new job, create a new product, develop something from scratch, do something creative. I don't know, there's millions of things that can be done, but hopefully there's avenues for them to be able to express these and use that to keep their sanity in and keep themselves moving forward. I mean, if robots are taking these jobs and find a way of making money on it.
If you look at 30 years ago, half, maybe not half, but a good amount of the jobs that we have today weren't available 30 years ago just because the technology wasn't there. Now the technology is there, and a lot of these companies, and we're going to talk about a consortium, are trying to better technology and work together, and in order to do that, we need people to do that. But that's the problem, that I live in a bubble where I just see that happening in the technology field. I'd like to see what other fields are doing this, that are trying to find other jobs that right now aren't being fulfilled, and that can find that could be a job for somebody that maybe isn't a robotic engineer, or doesn't have any need or gauge to be a robotics engineer. I do want to touch on one more thing before we move on. Children, our children, they love this stuff. They love the Xbox One, where you can just say, do this for me. They love Siri, and it's got that gimmicky kind of feel, and that's what they grew up with. You and I, we didn't grow up with that, so we kind of had to change our mindset and be okay, semi-okay with talking to a computer. But kids, they love that stuff, So do you think, 10 years from now, like what Paige is saying, that at least from the kids' point of view, they would just see that as just a thing, and they wouldn't necessarily see it as job loss for other people? They're just like, oh, it's just robots do the boring stuff. That's awesome. Robots are the custodians now, just like in that movie, that show I used to watch, Bumblegum Crisis. Robots did all the junk work that none of the humans want to do. Now, in that show, the robots did take over, but people just the kids. Do you think that they would just see robots having these jobs just to be okay with it, or do you think that they would have this kind of same mindset that we do?
No, they'll be fine with it, given that they can find outlets for them to do what they need to do. If they can't find anything to do, and there's nothing for them, and they don't have any jobs, and now they don't have any money, now they need to work, and now these robots, then I think they'd be in the same situation. But as I said, as long as there's an avenue for people to be able to express themselves, do something, make something of themselves, be creative, be business, do something like that, then yes, I think they'd be fine.
Okay.
So, all right. So, let's see here. I'd like to thank Robert for watching the show. Robert, how you doing?
Hey, Robert.
Hey, Robert, how you doing? All right. So you asked a question here about that. I really don't have much to say. There's probably a little bit more that of information needs to go out about the malware hacker and all that. But it's funny how I was actually looking into it, and a lot of the reports of that were coming out about a week ago and last week. So there's still a lot of stuff that's iffy on that. So until I know a little bit more about it, or until we really got, okay, this is what we know, this is what happened, this is definitely the person. I just with laws, litigations, and stuff like that, I don't like to take chances on a lot of that stuff until I know, because you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Now this person is in Russia, and I don't. A
I
future day.
I didn't hear anything about it. Sorry.
Yeah.
So
I saw it. I read about it. I was
I
like,
knew nothing.
I'll wait till that develops more until I
Okay.
start really getting into it. So now this next story that we have today actually is something that it started off as me looking at one thing, and it developed into the next thing, and next thing you know, I'm reading pretty deep into this and doing a little background research. Now, what we're going to talk about now is the issue between Amazon and Hachette Books, which is a book publishing company. Now, for those of you who's out there, you're watching TV. I guess Tony, you mentioned that even Colbert had it. He mentioned it on his show. Stephen Colbert, for people who don't know, he's a
Yeah.
comedy actor, TV. Anyway, so he brought this up. Now, what's going on is this: Amazon and the club and the Hachette, which is a book publisher, are at disputes right now, going at getting things right. This dispute has now spilled over to the point where Amazon is holding back book shipments, delaying when things get shipped out, not ordering as much from the Hachette company, which includes physical books mainly, because that is a big portion of where they're going to make their money. And this is causing a rift between, of course, Hachette and Amazon. And the authors are kind of caught in the middle of it, because the authors are not getting their books sold because, well, Amazon is not selling their books. They're not making the cut on there.
Right.
Now, this has been going on for a little while now, and we have now, well, had some new interesting stuff that has come out. And upon reading this and getting a little research, there's definitely a lot happening in this entire situation. So this is what we have. Amazon. So what the news story that came out today that broke was Amazon is offering Hachette authors 100% of the cut of ebook sales, while Hachette and Amazon are still bickering about prices. So, and we'll talk about exactly what they're bickering about here in a moment. So what they're doing is they're saying, while us and Hachette are arguing and bickering, going at it, if anyone buys your books, then we will give you the full amount of what they paid for the book that you wrote. And he's talking about the authors.
Right.
Now, this is definitely a move that is done to get the authors out of the negotiation tactic, because from Hatchett's standpoint, since they are representing authors and they're with the Authors Guild and they represent authors, they need to have the authors on their side. Not surprising.
Sure.
Makes sense.
Sure.
But Google's coming out with this move that almost
Amazon.
looks like a way. Amazon, sorry. Google. Amazon is coming out with this move, and it makes it look like they're kind of undercutting them to get the authors on their side so that they have more negotiating tactics. All right. That's where we start. Initial thoughts on that, Tony?
Yeah, I mean, my initial thought when I read this article, like I mentioned, Stephen Colbert, he has a book through Hachette, and he was up in arms against Amazon, and he basically said, you know what, screw Amazon, I'm going to sell my book on my website, and I'm going to make more money through selling it through my website than I would have selling it through Amazon. And I think he actually did. Now, this is anecdotal. I don't have the exact figures, but it was, obviously it was kind of a fire sale, if you will. Fans probably wouldn't have bought the book otherwise, but they bought a ton of them. And so to me, it was definitely something I was hoping that Amazon and Hachette would kind of figure out sooner than later, because there are books on Amazon that weren't being sold because of this. So now that this came out, I just saw it as a win 100% for the authors. And I knew Amazon and Hachette would figure something out on the side, so to speak. But I didn't realize it was going to be a full 100%. So that's a real good deal for the authors. But
Yes.
that's just the top layer, right?
Yes.
Like there's more to that.
So here's what we found out. So Amazon, now a lot of the articles that I have been seeing around have been very negative to Amazon. And I've just been taking, okay, Amazon's really pushing their weight, they're pushing their power around. Well, it looks like there might be more to the story, because another article that kind of explained it a little bit more and actually displayed the full letter of what was sent to these authors, or what the offer was. So the offer was a deal that Amazon is trying to make with Hachette, because they have to make the deal with Hachette, saying that, well, while we bicker, of course, your authors will get 100% of the money. That way, so the authors that you are standing up for can get their money, even though you won't get anything and we won't get anything. So it's a fair game. So at least they're not affected and they can continue making money. Apparently, they declined this offer. So this thing would probably not happen unless the authors go directly to it, and that's probably one of the things that they're saying Amazon is probably hoping for. But this is what we noticed. So what Amazon has claimed is this. They said that they have actually went to Hachette at first, and they said, hey, look, we need to work out a deal for all this future publishing deal, because the previous contract was coming up, and Hachette apparently was ignoring all their requests. They said that they were trying to reach them for months, and had absolutely no results getting anybody at Hachette to respond, until they started cutting back the books, stopped the ordering, and stopped the pricing and all that. When that happened, and then they started jacking up the prices, that's when Hachette supposedly jumped in and was saying, hey, something's wrong here. That's not right. You can't do that. But Amazon is claiming, hey, you know what? We want to rework out the wholesale deal like we had before, and you guys are not even calling us up.
Yeah, but y'all never picked up the phone. What do you expect us to do?
So they're also claiming that that recently, a month ago, that they went to them and said, hey, look, we want to come up with something, and Hachette finally got back to them and says, all right, we will be back with you with a counteroffer in a week. And it's been a month and they still haven't had the counteroffer yet. Now, what has been going on is, what this entire bickering has to do with pricing, and it seems to have to do with wholesale pricing. From what we're able to see, or what this other article is insinuating, it's saying that Hachette wants to not really charge Amazon wholesale pricing anymore, or just jack up the wholesale price so that they pay more for each book, which means right now, for example, the book may retail for $15, Amazon may be only paying $7 or $6 or $8, I'm just throwing that number out there, and they're selling it for $10, which means they're probably making $2 a book. And it's something like that. And I actually really think they're getting 50% of the retail, which is $7.50 a book. They're selling for $10, they're making $2.50. Hachette wants to control the pricing of the book, so they want to remove the wholesale, which will get the cost up a little bit, which will cause Amazon to not make money on their book sales anymore. Now, Amazon will be forced to either raise the price to what Hachette would want them to do, or Amazon will just lose money on the sale, and Amazon doesn't want to do that, so they're pulling their muscle and saying, hey, you know what, screw it. We're going to go ahead and do this, and we're going to fight our way, and we're going to push around and do our thing. So what we have here is a situation where it seems like Hachette is using their power and their authors as leverage to try to get the prices up much so they can continually make more money on their books. Amazon is trying to continually make money on their books and keep things going, possibly make a little bit more money on their books, but can't seem to come up to an agreement as of what this other article and what the people at Amazon have been saying here. Then they sent this letter out as a response to all the authors saying, hey, you know what? We know you guys keep getting thrown in the loop here, like the Stephen Colbert's and all that. Look, we're trying to play it safe. We're trying to be nice here. We will give you guys all the money that you guys are losing, so you guys lose nothing, while the publisher and us are deciding numbers and figuring all this out. And that's kind of where that's where they're using their way to try to sell this idea of, you sign with us. But apparently I think Hachette has to agree to this deal, or else nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, that was my question. Like, basically, if I have a book and Hatchet's my publisher, and Hachette and Amazon are hashing this out, and Amazon sends me this letter, I'm like, okay, great, yeah, I want 100%. How do I do it? Like, do I then have to
put pressure on Hachette to consider them?
I have to put pressure on Hachette, or do I go directly to Amazon with all the books that are in my garage? Like, how? That's what I didn't quite understand.
They have to go through Hachette. The idea is they don't want the publisher.
Well, Hachette still has to agree to this, and Hatchet's not going to make any money out of this, and so why would they ever agree to this?
And now you know why Hachette said no.
Well, yeah. So I mean,
so Hachette is in a situation where they're not making any. They're losing sales because they can't publish their books, and they're using the authors as a way of leverage and all that. Amazon is trying to pull the authors on their side, saying, "Hey, look, authors, we'll give you money. And they're actually pulling out an offer that, at least for the authors' standpoint, Amazon's pulling out an offer that's pretty fair for the authors. While it's not fair for the two businesses, but it is the two businesses
It's
that are having.
extremely fair for the author. This is more than the authors make anyways.
Exactly. That's why they're trying to use this to put pressure on it. So this is definitely all politics. And real quick, so people kind of get an idea of what kind of prices we're talking here. An average book model price, I mean, authors get about 8 to 15% of the royalties. The publisher gets 45 to 55%. So of that $10 before, the authors would only get a couple bucks of that. Now Amazon's offering them the full $10 for it, given that they can probably put enough pressure on Hachette to work out this deal. This also puts pressure on Hachette to hurry up and make a deal, because maybe they may lose folks saying, all right, you know what, I see that the people you're fighting with are trying to do these deals, so you know what, I'm not going to publish to you guys. Let me go directly to them. They're definitely putting a lot of pressure on this entire thing. So
do you also think that this is another way for Amazon to quietly coax certain authors to say, hey, just publish through us? I mean, doesn't Amazon have some sort of publishing house, or is that just for Kindle?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is probably some of the best business negotiation and crazy tactics I have seen between these two companies. Really,
I mean, it's poaching. That's what it is.
It's really exactly.
It's full on poaching. There's no if, buts, or maybe about it.
Now, I like how this has been happening in the movie industry, and this has happened in the music industry also. Similar things about bickering between the content creators and all that. In the music industry, we're having this going on with music rights, licensing rights going on, and it's a similar thing where it's all about controlling the content. Yeah. The people want to control the content and all, and it's funny how as the new avenues are producing new ways, their new self-publishing models are now starting to come out. You can self-publish on Amazon.
Right.
You can self-publish your own music the way I've been doing it. You can actually, I found out you can actually, if you have enough money and get a developer, you can self-publish your own freaking video game now. It's like you can do everything yourself now, but the publishers are needed for big money, big promotion, and really getting your book out there and getting it in front of
book tours, Oprah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you can only go so far doing the green, doing it yourself. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, the publishers have their role in all that, but now we have this big deal between these two book things. I just wanted to hammer home that this is, for anyone who's kind of taking sides on it, it's hard to really take sides on one or the other without just like looking at the fact that this is really two businesses fighting over dollars that the authors themselves don't really get, and I don't know how much more the authors are really going to get in this entire deal. Maybe they make an extra $1 a book. Maybe that's what they're negotiating. That might be something. But who's to say Amazon won't try to undercut it and do something else to try to get authors onto their thing? This is just interesting business, and it shows about how digital and that entire world of digital rights and digital content is shaping and changing our world into just a whole different manner. And hey, when our kids and robotics and all that stuff happens, it'll be a whole different world as far as art, music, and all those things too.
There you go, kids. Become a lawyer and deal with all this.
No, become a robotics engineer.
And a lawyer.
A robotic engineer lawyer.
A robotic lawyer. Cybertronic. There you go. See?
Tell your parents. If you don't have a circuit board in your arm right now, you are missing out.
You're missing out.
Don't put a circuit board in your arm. Don't do it. All right. So anyway, after enough of that, let's take a break. Let's chill out for a little bit. Relax. Talk about this awesome service here. Now, even though we just talked about the other thing here in the entire business that has nothing to do per se with what we're talking about here, this is just a sponsor. And the sponsor is actually a service that actually is good. Hopefully the books will stay there. So far, the collection of books is quite astronomical, over 150,000. What are we
150,000?
Yes, and it's growing, by the way. It's not getting smaller.
And growing.
We're talking about audible.com. These are audiobooks, everyone. These are books that are literally read to you. These are books that allow us to stay in our busy lifestyle, allow us to commute, and simply enjoy the literary arts and books and short stories and fiction and horror and all these great stories and things that are being written every single day, and allows you to listen to them in your busy lifestyles. I know there are many of us that used to read a lot and we just don't have the time anymore because things have gotten in the way. Well, Audible.com is your solution, and with this URL, audibletrial.com/lazy, use that one, and you'll get a chance to check it out for 30 days. With that, you also get a free book, so you get to listen to a book and check it and listen to it. You get discounts on other books that you get. I think it's up to 30% more off every other book you choose. As you stay a member, you get free credits every month, and as those credits can be used for more books, would you believe it? And it all around becomes a great service. Works on every device, including Android, iOS, Windows Phone, and it just goes on and on. And I don't know, it's just a great service. They have great content, great readers, great books, and like I said, 30 days to check it out for free. We want you to use this URL, audibletrial.com/lazy. Use it, check it out, sign up, enjoy it. If you don't like it, you can cancel it. It doesn't cost you anything. You get to keep the book, so you get to share it with your friends and be like, oh, this Stephen King novel is fantastic.
Mr. Mercedes.
There you go.
That's on there.
It is on there.
Yep.
All right. audibletrial.com/lazy. Go ahead, sign up, check it out, and enjoy it. It is quite an awesome service, and we'd like to thank them for being a sponsor.
Thank you.
All right. Now, Tony, have you been to the movie theaters anytime recently?
I have. I went like 3 times last 2 weeks ago. It was awesome.
Where'd you watch?
Transformers, Godzilla, and there was another one. Actually, the X-Men one, the future of past with the future and the past.
Futures of Days Past.
That one with the days in the future and the past of the days and the weeks.
You know, it's on a comic book, right? Anyway, so
it was actually a really, really well done. Like there were some parts where I was like, it's kind of draggy because it's a talking movie. It is. It's explaining a lot of stuff, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this: none of the theaters that I had recliners.
Would you like them better if they did?
I don't know. I think I might have fallen asleep, to be honest with you.
Oh my God! Oh, dude, you imagine so I have a problem with falling asleep under movies that have underwater scenes. Like any movie with underwater, yeah, I fall asleep almost every time. It's just like the list goes on and on. Like the fact that I I actually didn't make it to the end of Spear. I kind of got and fell asleep, woke up, fell asleep.
I was thinking that movie right now. Like the Sphere would have made you fall asleep like hell quick.
Yeah, Leviathan and all those. There's too much blues, too darks, too thing, and I just go.
All right. Well, what we're talking about here is AMC. If you're looking at the screen here, AMC is basically implementing Lazy Boys. And let's see, in a ton of their theaters. I don't know if this means that they're going to be replacing all of their theaters, but they're going to be spending about $600 million in replacing their old seats with these new seats. And first off, anecdotally, yeah, you could either fall asleep or, it could be a really nice, relaxing experience. Second of all, though, that's kind of like business class. You know what I mean? Like, in business class or first class on an airplane, that takes away real estate from other seats that could be there. So now your seating capacity went from like 500 down to maybe 250 or 270. So now you don't have, you're not able to sell as many tickets because you have less space.
But you charge more for those tickets. Think about it.
But does that mean AMC as a theater just charges more? So you go AMC versus Century?
No, I thought of this as you were explaining it. I was like, wait a minute, you got a point there. But you do like they do 3D. They just have a theater for the recliner seats in the regular theaters.
So
all the bulk people in all the main theaters, and then you charge them $3 or $4 more to go to the recliner room, which they'll make up the money from the people, and they just do the recliner room or something.
And some theaters already have this. Like some private theaters have the recliners already. So yeah, they do charge more. I think they also offer beer too. But
where are these things? They're right, recliners.
There's one in San Francisco. You know what? They might have closed down.
No.
Yeah.
That sucks, dude.
Sorry, I went once. It was okay.
Actually, you're right. If you go to a Cinebar or whatever, the ones that have the alcohol in the in the theater, that and a recliner and beer. Oh no, there's no way I'm making it to the end of that movie.
Yeah, no, but the way that the articles that I've been reading either on Engadget and The Verge, did they mention like if they're going to be doing this to every single theater in their facilities, or just going to be like one theater?
They're going to do outfit over the next 5 years, 1,800 to 5,000 auditoriums. Now,
So
keep in mind,
okay,
that's auditoriums. Now, they may have in a single theater 12 to 20, 22 auditoriums in a single theater. They're
okay.
doing 5,000 auditoriums. So they're going to do certain rooms. Like they're going to have the recliner. They may have do two recliner rooms where they're going to charge more money for the seats, but you get a comfy chair. Maybe they'll offer you better drinks. Maybe they'll even have someone come up to you, a steward or a stewardess, to come, hey, would you like a drink today?
There's a famous theater in Texas that does that. Basically, you have they don't have recliners, but basically throughout the movie, you're watching it, and there's a walkway right below you. You have a little table. There's a walkway right below you, and the waitress looks up at you, and she just kind of points you, and you give her a little piece of paper. You don't say anything. You give her a little piece of paper with fries, hot dog, and a drink, and she comes and brings it to you, and you take credit card and blah blah blah. So. I don't know if AMC would do that. Again, that is a singular independent theater who does that. But I was again reading on The Verge here. Yeah, it's going to reduce seating occupancy by 70%, which is a lot. But making up on the back end an additional $3 in their loop. But they're losing. How much is the ticket now? Tickets are like $10, $11, and they're only going to be getting $3 more. That's like that's like an $8 decrease just because they have less seats.
Well, there's another part of it too. Well, first thing, I don't know how they're going to budget. Like, if they may charge more, they may charge less, they may charge the same. The other part I was thinking is this: as you know, when movies come out new, they're big and full, and they're big, they're like pretty good. But after 2 weeks of a movie coming out, usually that theater is about a third full. About a month after it comes out, usually they're lucky to get an eighth of it filled up. So maybe they're thinking they could utilize that space better in those theaters, in those situations. I don't know. It's hard to say exactly why. Maybe that's why they're kind of experimenting with this. But considering how was it actually, I found out Regal Entertainment's doing it, but they're only doing 25 theaters. AMC is going in the gusto and putting it into 5,000 auditoriums.
They're what, the second biggest or the biggest theater chain in the United States?
Definitely, they closed down in Vallejo.
But
there used to be an AMC.
Oh yeah, where the Kohl's is now.
Yeah,
that was before my time though.
Yeah, I watched Independence Day there. I
know that's what people said.
Racer there, the Arnold Schwarzenegger. It was
the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
It was the loudest movie I had ever watched in my life. It was unreal good. Let's just say that the alligators, I mean, you literally heard them. It was so loud over your head and everything that I was thinking, first thing, you guys do need to turn this down, but don't do that because this sounds incredible. Yeah, because that movie was also already loud too.
I don't know. I know a lot of theaters they're trying to make the seats more comfortable. I mean, it's just like the aeroplane industry. They try to make the seats more comfortable so you don't feel like you need to fidget. But I know that there's so many parameters that they're gonna find out actually implementing this into a couple of hundred of their auditoriums. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out over the next couple of years.
Do you think it's going to help them get the increases they need, or do you think this is just going to just kind of, because so far they've been breaking even and they've said they only rose.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah, neither.
I don't think it'll help.
They can put subwoofer in there, everybody's share. Don't do that.
Well, no, some IMAX theaters do that. That's cool, but it's one theater in a mile radius of like 50 miles. That one really awesome IMAX theater, and that's it. There's another IMAX theater in 2 towns over, but it's not as cool, not as big. So, but it's far and few between. And so if they do this in select theaters, like AMC 1000 in San Francisco, right on Van Ness, that makes complete sense, and I would go there just to experience it. But if they do that in every single theater, I think that's just a huge money pit and just a big mistake. Yeah. If anything, they need to improve the selection of condiments and refreshments. But I was watching a documentary on movie theater owners, and they said, "Yeah, we make nothing off of the ticket sales. We make a majority of our stuff back on refreshment sales." So it's interesting to see where they're putting their emphasis for the customers. Like, okay, now you're comfortable. Maybe you want to have a drink. It's like, oh, that makes sense because that's what I do at home. So maybe that's that visceral kind of feeling like, oh, now I'm comfy. Where's my drink? Oh, I got to go buy a drink now. $8 later, it's like, oh, I got a drink. Oh, now I'm hungry. $10 later, I got a pizza. Things like that. That could happen. Could happen.
Could happen.
I do here at home, so I'm sure that could happen at the theater. They cracked the code. There you go.
All right. Now, Samsung, we talked about this before. The Galaxy VR, it's like a VR headset that we're rumored that Samsung's working on, and a picture has come out that might have a little information about it. Tony, did you jump for joy when you saw this and was like, I gotta have one, or
Well, yeah, there was some talk that Samsung was working with the Oculus Rift team, and that they were going to possibly license the Oculus Rift technology into their own VR headset. And I thought that was kind of a weird rumor because it seemed like too much of a conflict of interest. But Samsung, the company that does everything and anything way before anybody else does anything, this is not out of the ordinary. And again, we're going to talk about something that another piece that Samsung's doing in the Internet of Things. But it's an interesting concept, I guess. I don't really know what they would do differently. I guess this would definitely be implemented in the medical field, obviously the gaming field. There's no question about that. Did you hear about the Google Cardboard giveaway at Google I/O?
I saw it. I didn't really read about it, but that's kind of what I've been hearing this VR headset's more like. I heard it's kind of like that kind of idea.
Yeah, and so it's like that kind of experience. I would take it, and so I'm not saying that if anyone could do it well, it's going to be Samsung because they've had some misses in the past, but this is good for competition, obviously, and it's going to push the other teams. More Project Morpheus, Oculus, and whoever else is working on VR, Microsoft as well too. So, in the end, we'll see how this pans out. It's probably, although, going to be in a closed environment though, where this works best if you have a Galaxy phone and not even a Windows Phone 8 phone. It's got to be a Galaxy phone or something to that effect. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it might be unveiled alongside with the Galaxy Note 4 at IFA in September. So that's close. That's quick. Now, when they launched and announced the first Galaxy Gear watch, I think it was like $200 to $300, and everyone was like, "Whoa, that's more expensive than we were expecting." And not many people bought it. So where do you think that this is going to cost? I mean, how much is the Oculus Rift right now as a developer preview? That's $1,500. I think it's like $1,500.
Yeah.
So how much do you think this would be like? $500?
Well,
$700?
No, considering the technology that they're presenting, it's more like a phone sitting there instead of the Oculus Rift, which is presenting two real screens and real VR. I would say this thing's probably going to be $500.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say $500, just because this is not the same VR that an Oculus Rift is. The only thing that's similar is the fact that it's a head-mounted display. Beyond that, there have been many head-mounted displays from other companies that have been out there. All right, Samsung and Intel.
Samsung again.
Yeah, they have decided to create the Internet of Things.
Yeah, they're creating it.
I know. I just wanted to say.
I had an idea.
A helpful, handy, a handful of tech handywits, including Intel, Broadcom, and Samsung, unveiled a new nonprofit group called the Open Internet Consortium. Very creative name, OIC. They're very, very close to OCP, just so you know. And their mission is to develop standards and certifications for devices involved in the Internet of Things.
God, this is so
is this just another consortium?
This is another consortium. There's the All-Seeing Alliance consortium as well too, and I'm sure in a couple of months there's going to be another consortium. This is okay. So, there's so many standards that it's no longer a standard. There's so much conflicting stuff. I mean, people they're trying to make Thunderbolt that's an Intel product, and they're trying to make that a standard. And no one bought into it, and so then Apple was just like, okay, we'll take it. And I think Bluetooth is probably one. The Bluetooth and Wi-Fi are the two consortiums that have been, at least on the consumer side of it, have been very successful. and just everybody agreeing to just saying, okay, we're going to use Bluetooth. Okay, everyone else shut up. We're using Bluetooth for this kind of wireless technology. And Wi-Fi, if you want something like broader ranged, a little bit more unsecure than Bluetooth can be at certain times. But if you're going to be 300 feet over there, Wi-Fi is going to be much better than Bluetooth. And there needs to be some sort of consortium. There needs to be standards, but there needs to be some more agreement on how these standards are going to work, because we're already seeing, like in the wireless charging realm, there's two big ones. There's PMA and Qi. Qi is probably the more popular of the two, as it's in the Nokia Lumia phones, it's in the Nexus 5, and a bunch of other phones. And a company by the name of Starbucks is now implementing wireless charging docks in their Starbucks, which is cool. But they use PMA, which very few people use. In fact, the only way that I know that you can get PMA wireless charging is to go out and buy a Duracell PMA case that has wireless charging. So, that's just either a really bad business move. It's probably cheaper than using the Qi method. But it just makes it harder for people. Like, oh, should I buy a phone that has Qi, or should I buy a phone that has PMA? And should I buy a phone that's under the All-Seen Alliance or under the OIC? What should I do? And I mean, tech heads. That's what.
It's a mess.
It's a complete mess. And I know years from now we're gonna kind of look back and it's like, oh, remember that time we worried about it? Now we don't have to worry. But now we're worrying. Now I'm just pissed off. Like, guys.
I worry that there's so many consortiums that each consortium is going to be considering a different idea, and it's going to be like, oh, God, now we're in the same situation of just consortium groups of people doing the exact bickering over standards.
There's going to be a consortium with a bunch of consortiums in there going against another group of consortiums underneath another consortium.
All right, so now, dude, did you see this new phone from Blackberry?
You know what? Blackberry had some amazing phones back in the day, and I think they lost all their marbles.
Well, okay, so just so everyone knows, this new Blackberry phone it's square.
It's literally, well, not perfectly square. But it's square.
This is what I thought of. This is what they're thinking too, probably.
John Chen was like, "Hey, I have a great idea." Everyone's doing these rounded edges, and everyone's suing everybody else.
Yeah.
Let's throw in a physical keyboard that no one uses anymore. But let's throw that on there, and then we'll have perfectly 90-degree angles on our phone and a huge ass screen. Well, how big is this screen? This is a 4. This is, I mean, it's only a 4.5-inch screen. This is the Blackberry Passport.
Oh, and I got the specs here say big ass screen.
Oh, okay.
Those are the official specs, yeah.
That's what I thought. Yeah, that sounds about right. That was in the press release? Okay,
That's
good.
in the press release, yes.
So the photo that I just put up was between an iPhone 4S, I would assume, the Blackberry Passport, and the next to is the Samsung Galaxy S3, or I guess maybe that's the S5. I don't even know. In any event, what BlackBerry is trying to say is, with the phone, with the iPhone and the Galaxy phone, your screen real estate is lacking. Because you don't see everything. But with our Passport, you can do so much better interaction with Excel files, doing things like trading stocks, writing notes. But I gotta tell you, man, they missed the boat on a number of things, but they also missed the memo on this design. I think it was LG. I forget what the name of the phone was, but LG also launched a phone on Verizon, which was very much of a squareful? No, it was a square phone, and needless to say, it did not sell well at all. Because just look at it. It just looks like a joke. I don't care what kind of OS that you put in there. That just looks like, I, I can't even think of the adjective to describe it because it just looks laughable. For those that are listening,
I hope that it was a rumor. Honestly, I was like, please say that to.
no, this is real. John Chen's like, no, screw rumors. This is real. And we're like,
How do you
oh,
hold that? How do you put that in your pocket? There's a reason why our phones are thin. It's because our pockets are designed to fit into our pockets. This thing is square. It, it, it.
back pocket.
Is that a note on the right side or a Galaxy?
That's a well, notes are galaxies, but that's a Galaxy S. I want to say it's a Galaxy S5, but I have an S3 here somewhere. I forget where it is.
So it's about the width, a little bit wider than a note, and definitely a little shorter than a note.
Well, the screen size is overall is smaller than a note, but it's uber wide, man. I mean, uber with the two dots over the U. But it's solving a problem I don't think people are really having. And Apple did that, and it was solving a problem that no one was really having, but they did it in such a way that people were like, okay, well then yeah, we'll just adopt that because that's pretty freaking awesome, and hence we have these really cool smartphones and tablets, right? But this, yeah, I mean sometimes I'm looking at Excel spreadsheets. I have a Galaxy Note 3. Sometimes I'm looking at spreadsheets on my phone, and I have to zoom out sometimes in order to go to different tabs. But it's not the worst of experiences, and based off of what I'm seeing on this single screenshot, that without having to zoom in or zoom out, you have all your tabs, you got all your first few columns and rows, and what else would you need? And but okay, I get it. I mean, maybe that's why I would do Excel on a tablet, because a tablet overall is a much bigger real estate. But this phone just looks really, really bad. Now, this is IMO, in my own opinion. So if you have thoughts, when you said, oh, this is the best thing I've been waiting for, a square phone, then good on you. Good for you. And I hope that you get this phone and you're really, really happy with it. But, to me, just that kind of first glance on what we've been seeing, yeah, I guess it's just hip to be square.
There you go. So you've done a factory reset on your Android phone before, right?
Oh, many times. That's the thing to do, man. You get your phone, you factory reset, a couple of days later, you just do it. Just because, it's fun to have to try and figure out what all your passwords are.
That's why we have keychains. So all right, so it looks like a company called Avast, a security company who makes antivirus software, has revealed that on Android devices, a factory reset does not destroy all the data. Matter of fact, they're saying that it only destroys data at the app level. I think is what they see here. Here we go. This is the statement from them. Researchers in a report wrote that although at first glance the phones appeared to be thoroughly erased, we quickly retrieved a lot of phone data. In most cases, we got to the low-level analysis, which helped us recover SMS and chat messages. So they're saying that the factory reset on Android phones does not actually reset everything. There are still some things that need to be done, and if you sell your phone like on Amazon or sell it used to somebody else,
Craigslist,
even if you've done a factory reset, there's a good chance that if the person is really good on their end, they may be able to retrieve and get all the rest of your information back off of it. So now, are you shaking in your boots there, Tony?
No. I mean, that's how computers are too, right? Mm-hmm. You think you deleted everything in your cache file and in your recycling bin or trash bin, but if you have the proper software, you have the proper know-how, you know where to go, you can find all the documents. For example, and this was back in 1996, I had a report. That I was writing on Microsoft Word. Completely, the actual file itself got completely corrupted, and it deleted itself. And I screamed and wailed and cried because I thought I had to do it all over again. My dad came along, did some keystrokes. I don't know what he did, but he did it without software, and through some divine method, he was able to find it. And it was somewhere. It wasn't in the temp files. It wasn't in. It was somewhere that you would never think it would be. But it just proves that nothing is always deleted. So. Now, what that means is, I don't know what that means.
So this means that Google, Android, they would have to really redo the factory reset. Now the thing is,
Yeah.
even they said that they don't know about other phones because they didn't look at other ones. Like they don't know if the Apple one is truly exactly the same because they did not study it. It could very well be the perfect way of wiping out data, or it could very well have the exact same things being revealed. We don't know. It's hard. It's up in the air. But as far as Android phones go, buyers beware or sellers beware in this situation. Um, if factory reset apparently, according to this company, does not delete everything, and if a really, really tech savvy person who knows what they're doing could probably retrieve your information. So turn your phones into media players.
There you go.
There you go.
Or remote controls.
Extra game devices for your kids. Here, take this one.
Yeah, no, seriously. Like
Yeah.
this is the HTC Incredible. My son uses it to play Flappy Bird. There's no internet on it. He just plays Flappy Bird.
There you go. Everybody, if you want to play Flappy Bird,
You have to use this phone because you can't download it yet. You have to wait till August.
Nice. So all right. So anyway, so yeah, just gonna keep your eyes open, or just know about that security reveal in Android. All right, and with that, it looks like we have officially come to the end of our show.
What?
Thank you. Yes, 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 we came to the show. But we hung out for you guys. We hung out with you guys.
Yes. That was the end of the show. The thing. No? Okay, fine.
Is that what that was? All right. All right. So everyone, thank you again for hanging out with us. Let's give you some contact information for us. Right off the bat, you can reach us at comment@lazytechguys.com, or you can give us a call at area code 707-722-5299. We are found on many social networks if you look up Lazy Tech Guys, and we are found on YouTube if you look up Lazy Tech TV. That's the name of our channel. Subscribe to that one. It's a lot of fun. You get a lot of stuff is going up there pretty regularly, including these shows, so you can review and watch this over and over again. Share with your friends, share with your family, share with your loved ones, and more than that. And also share this other thing with them. It's called audible.com. audibletrial.com/lazy is where you would want to go to, well, get a free audiobook, as well as check out quite an awesome service. And it throws a little support our way, and we like to throw some support their way. So audibletrial.com/lazy. Now, Tony, real fast, if anyone wants to send you a quick message, like, I don't know, maybe Bruce here, maybe he wants to send you a quick message, how would he do so besides the Q&A?
What is going on, Bruce? Thanks very much. Yeah, so besides the Q&A, you can hit us up or hit me up personally on Twitter, LTG Tony, or find me on Google Plus, just Tony Hannity's. Just spell it out. Just like that. Just like what's below here.
Same for me too, right there. Sean Wilburn, SEANWILBRN. Go ahead and look it up there. You'll find it on Google Plus. That's kind of what I use the most. I also have an LTG Sean account, but I usually use Google Plus as my primary, so feel free to shoot me a message there. Also, like I said, phone calls and email and voicemails. Yes, we do get them. We do enjoy listening to them and keep on sending them, and we love hearing from you all. Give us your opinions about what phones, devices you like, you do not like, and we love to hear more.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, that is it, everyone. Thank you again. You guys have a great week. We will see you next week for episode 199. Yeah,
and I'll be back tomorrow for Tony's Tech Talk.
There you go. Guys, have a great week, and we're out. See you later.
Peace.